he learned about in India last summer. Patrick brought his mother's Irish soda bread with caraway seeds. David and Sarah brought brought challah, a bread traditionally served on Jewish holidays. With help from Sarah's mom, David and Sarah rolled the dough into snakes and braided them. Jake participated by bringing a loaf of whole wheat bread his father had helped him make and several dozen homemade rolls. The bake sale was a huge success. The bread sold quickly, and the class made $370 for new equipment. Miss Cross observed that bread is an important part of cultures around the world. Okay, so what was our key question this week? Does anyone know? Yes, ma'am?
You said what?
Yeah, y'all talked about it yesterday with Miss Stewart about the cultures.
Oh.
It's on the board. Who can read it? Amani, will you read it? Right under student work.
Y'all raced it yesterday.
About different cultures teach us.
Okay, so what can learning about different cultures teach us? What different things did they learn about in this story?
That they learned.
Yes, go ahead.
They learned that they learned how to make money to raise for their class, so their parents helped them make some food, and at the end, they had new equipment because they had $370 because everybody bought their food and gave them money.
Okay, yeah, that's what happened, but what kind of cultural things did they learn? Yes, sir?
They learned that to raise $1370 for new equipment and $370 for new equipment.
Okay, so they raised the money, but to raise the money, they made all these different kind of breads. Do you think these breads are different cultural types of breads?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Right here it says Carissa showed the Italian Focia bread. Italian is Italy is another place, right? It's not here.
I figured out.
That's a different culture.
They
Italian.
said they got Jewish bread.
Right.
We have Cuban. We have Italian. Germany. From all different places. Germany. England.
India.
Okay, so do you see where the different cultures tie in there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Well, let me make sure y'all know that. Okay, we are going to work. What were some words y'all didn't understand? What's some words you didn't understand?
I didn't understand. This one right here.
Variety. Can anybody tell her what variety means? What does variety mean?
Variety means like how they had all kinds of different breads. It's like a variety of different breads.
Yeah, a bunch of different kinds. What? Sanitary means clean. Really clean. You would want to make sure all your dishes were clean before you baked it on for people, right? Okay, one more.
Okay. I didn't understand this. M-A-N-T-O-U.
Manto, that's a type of bread. It's just a type.
I figured out that.
And one person tell me one important thing that they underlined.
The bread was so quick and the class made $370 for new equipment.
That is one of the most important parts. Yeah, exactly.
How about this?
Okay, so we're going to work on summarizing now. You guys know what summarizing is, right? One person tell me what summarizing is. Summarizing.
Like, give a short version about the text.
Give a brief, you would give a brief description about the major points or what happened. So it's like a small snippet of what happened in the big story. So I'm going to give y'all these worksheets.
Okay, what should you do when you get a paper?
Write your name.
Alright, so everyone write your name and the date.
And we hole punched it for you guys too, so you can put it in your binders. Because I know you all have binders.
Raise your hand if you didn't get a paper.
Okay, everybody have a name and date?
Yep.
Write it in. The first part says what? The first block says what?
Someone is the main character.
Someone. Who is the main character?
Mrs.
There was a lot of people in this story.
Miss Cross.
So as a whole, raise your hand. Who can tell me who is the main character of the story?
The class.
The class as a whole, yes. So put Miss Cross's class. I put Miss Cross's 5th grade class. Because everybody played a really big part in this story. Right about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on just a minute. Alright, the next block says wanted. What did the character want? So the main character is the classroom. Shh. Okay, what did the character want? So if the main character is the class, what was it that the class wanted? What did the class want?
They wanted to make money for the new school equipment.
Okay. That's right. I put they wanted to raise money for new equipment for the school grounds. Don't try to write fast because we're on a time limit.
And this part doesn't necessarily have to be in a complete sentence.
Okay, but what was the problem? What was the main problem in this story?
They didn't have enough money to buy new equipment for the school grounds.
Exactly. They needed money for equipment for the school grounds. That was their problem. They needed to come up with a way to raise money. Raise your hand if you've got that. Alright, I'm going to move on to the next one. So, how did the character try to solve the problem? What did they do in this story to solve this problem right here? What did they do?
They set up a table in front of a big grocery store near the school.
Okay, and what did they have?
All kinds of different bread.
Yeah, they had a bread sale, right? Okay, I like how you read it straight from the text, though. That was great. So I said they decided to have a bread bake sale. They each baked their own breads. You have a question?
I was thinking about they started a charity for school equipment.
They didn't start a
I
charity.
think the character.
They just had a bread sale.
Oh, sorry.
That would be a good idea, though, I guess, to raise money. You're right. raise your hand when you're done for me. Or what are you doing? Do that when you're done. Yeah. They decided to have a bread bake sale. They each baked their own breads. Just a few seconds. Alright, then, next part, then. So what was the resolution to the problem? The problem was they needed to come up with a way to raise money. What was the solution? What ended up happening at the end of the story?
They read so they can raise money for the clinic in ground for school.
And how much money did they raise?
$370.
So I put they raised $370 for new equipment. That solved their problem. They had enough money to buy equipment for the grounds.
Hey, remember what you do when you're finished?
So it's all on there in case you
Hey, just a couple more seconds.
Okay, so we are going to put all this information right here that we just did to make a small summary.
We're gonna
So-
write it into a big old summary.
But let me finish explaining, okay? So what would be the first thing that you would start off your summary with? What's the first thing that you need to know about this story? And where would you look for the first part?
Someone.
Okay. So what was going on? What would you say in your first sentence of the summary?
Miss Cross fifth grade class, they wanted to raise
Money.
stuff for the school. They needed a way to come up with a way to raise money.
Okay. So the first thing I would say was Mrs. Cross' 5th grade class needed money for new equipment. That's the first thing you found out when you read the story, right? Mrs. Cross' 5th grade class needed money for new equipment.
I was about to write all that down because I put all of the summary paper.
Yeah, if that's what we can do now, we're gonna make it into a summary paragraph.
And you should be writing this at the bottom and all that space that's given. Okay, so we know that Miss Cross's 5th grade class needed money for new equipment. So, move on to the next box. What did they do?
They started a fund.
They what?
They started a fundraiser for school equipment.
A bake sale. So, Mrs. Cross' 5th grade class needed money for new equipment. So they had to come up with a way to raise money, and they decided to have a bake sale, a bread bake sale. So in that next sentence, you need to tell, in your own words,
Okay, so
Miss Cross's 5th grade class needed money for new equipment. So you need to put,
So they decided to have a bake sale.
to raise money.
Yeah, because when you summarize, you wanna summarize in your own words. But you have to have your
Make sure you're using
evidence.
correct punctuation. Every sentence begins with a capital letter.